Bro, which one was the record button again? It has been a very long time. I know. But there's reasons for that. Reasons that we will discuss today. Few slight obvious changes to the appearance from last time. One, I've got this sling on. Two, look at this. What do you think about the buzz cut? Lockdown made me do it. I don't know if I rate it. I'm kind of missing my old hair. Let me know in the comments down below if you prefer this or my old hair. Or neither, because you can just hate my head in general. Also, if you did not notice, I'm wearing the new Alag hoodie. Look at this. I mean, this sling is kind of in the way of how beautiful this is. I just wish there was a way of showing you guys exactly how this looks without the sling.
Kid for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, if they pretend. Came off the bench, I get it.
You can cop this hoodie on alagbayansari.com alongside beanies, hats, there's shawls, duppattas. There's a lot of things that you guys should check out. Now let's talk about why you clicked on this video. My accident. One of the main questions I got on my Instagram was, how did it occur? So, time for a story time. Anyway, story time, let's go. It was a mysterious Wednesday afternoon. I jumped on my bike and left to my local cafe. All I wanted was a coffee on that beautiful day. Now some might say that I have a coffee addiction. It's all silly rubbish, I don't. It's nonsense. But there I was riding on my bike and Allah had other plans for me. Bam! Look, I can't actually tell you guys exactly what happened in the accident because one, I don't actually remember too much of it, and secondly because obviously the insurance companies have their own investigations going on about it. So basically the accidents happened. I've slammed into two poles, suffered several rolls after that, and then got up straight away because of the adrenaline. Thought to myself that I must be okay, I have to be okay. I start pulling my helmet off, realized that only one arm was moving. My second arm was kind of dangling, dislocated, longer than usual, and as soon as I saw that I kind of fainted, fell on the ground, and then next thing I know my helmet was off and I had several people around me. Now let's get into your questions. What was your first thought reaction after regaining consciousness? Okay, so when I regained consciousness, by the way I was only unconscious for like a few seconds only, but as soon as I gained consciousness I just remember saying the kalma. I was like, I must be dead right now, so I was just screaming La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and I don't know, I was in that in denial stage where I was like, this couldn't have happened, surely this has to be a dream, someone wake me up, please wake me up. But yeah, no one woke me up unfortunately. The few people that were around me were all trying to keep me calm. Alhamdulillah, I had good people around me. I had Sufyan who was there, my neighbor coincidentally was there, two girls that followed me happened to call the ambulance, then a student paramedic was also there, so I had good people around me. Everyone was trying to keep me calm because I saw the state of my arm and I knew that this is a long day for me, so I was feeling a lot of pain and I could physically see that this doesn't look too right, and I had rashes everywhere, I was bleeding, my clothes were ripped, so I was like, you know what, it's a very long day. How did your mum and dad react to the news? So my dad actually came to the scene after I had already left with the paramedics, saw the state of the bike, the oil everywhere, saw my blood on the road, so he kind of realized that this was a bad situation. He was quite worried, as any parent would be, but my mum, she didn't actually know the state of the accident, so my dad only told her so much that I just fell off my bike. So she hadn't seen the photos of the bike, she hadn't seen the photos of me, so she wasn't aware of how bad it was, so I think she was a lot calmer than my dad. What was your boys' reaction when they found out about your accident? You know what, let's give him a call and find out exactly what their reaction was. Hi.
Yeah, mate.
Quick question. What was your first reaction when you found out about my accident?
I just made dua.
Hi.
How are you, mate?
Nice, I like Beanie, mate.
Thanks, mate.
What was your first reaction when you found out about my accident?
Bro, my heart started beating, mate.
Oh, what a cutie.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. What was your first reaction when you found out about my accident?
I was so upset. I was actually going to student biryani and I lost all appetite.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Quick question.
Oh, you're recording a TikTok video, aren't you? Can we do it again? I'm not ready, 1 second.
Alright, yeah, I'll call you back. Wait, but you gotta act full surprise. Answer like, you know, I just called you first time.
Let me get the lighting footage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no worries. Take two. He doesn't know that this is all gonna be part of the video. Your take one is in the video. This is Ramis Ansari's channel. We're genuine up in this. What was your first reaction when you found out about my accident?
Oh shit, bro. To be honest, first reaction, I didn't believe it at first because I thought like it was a prank or something.
Same. I didn't believe it either.
But then when Viraj got a bit serious, then I don't know, bro, my heart sunk, bro. I was like so upset. I was lost for words. Like straight out, I felt like I wanted to vomit.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Alright, quick question. What was your first reaction when you found out about my injury?
Bro, honestly, when I heard the news first, I thought it was like a prank or something. But you're just pulling a joke or something.
I wish.
When I saw the pictures, it was actually really, really like crazy. When I saw how the bike looked, I was like, bro, how is this guy even alive?
What was your first reaction when you found out about my accident?
This motherfucker on my birthday.
Oh yeah, it was your birthday!
Probably my worst birthday ever.
Guys, don't worry, we're gonna celebrate your next birthdays. You saw my accident. What was your first reaction?
It didn't process to me fucking 2 weeks later.
How long were you in hospital for and how many injuries did you get? Okay, so I was in hospital for about initially 4 days. I went from the accident scene straight to the emergency hospital. Stayed about there for 4 days. Now, the list of injuries I sustained from this accident. Are you ready? Fractured glenoid, shattered shoulder blade, brachial plexus network injury, right thumb fracture, left elbow grazes and wounds, deep wounds to my right elbow, superficial wounds on both knees, and a lot of psychological damage and trauma, which I think was already there beforehand. So you never know. No, but alhamdulillah, there was no injuries to my spine, to my back, to my neck, which off a motorbike accident is usually the first thing and the one thing that doctors are most worried about. So first 2 nights I was actually in a neck brace until they kind of like discovered that no injuries to the neck or the spine. And let me tell you, that was one of the worst nights of my life. They couldn't find any specialist in the hospital that was willing to operate on my shoulder because of how complex and tricky the actual injury was. I was observed by like 4 or 5 different specialists and doctors, and they all looked at me and they're like, what have you done, mate? I had to wait quite a bit of time. They sent me back home in the hopes that we're gonna refer you and transfer you to another hospital where a surgeon will look after your surgery. After multiple doctors visiting me, calling me, I had like 4 or 5 different hospitals try and do their own research into my injury. No one was willing to take me on because of how complex the injury was. Apparently, I had broken my shoulder blade and my glenoid into pieces, like how you break a mug into pieces. Now, after 2 whole weeks of being broken and in pain at home, finally found a doctor at a hospital an hour away from my home that was willing to operate and had the skills to operate on me. Had the surgery, alhamdulillah, went fine. It was like 7-hour surgery. There was like 8 or 9 people inside the operating theater. They had 3 doctors on standby, so it was a big surgery. After that surgery, I stayed at the hospital for 5 days. The surgery left me with a massive stitch. So if you can imagine, like from here down there, and I'll insert an x-ray of my injury before and after. After, as you can see, there's like 4 plates, 18 screws. It's a whole lot of hardware in my shoulder. Now, may I say, hospital food tastes like absolute shit. The whole time I was there, I was more disappointed and depressed about the food I was being served than the pain I was in. What speed were you going? Why is man trying to come up like he's the feds, asking me investigative questions like this? I ain't declaring nothing, fam. Your thoughts about the paramedics in your injury journey? They were really nice because they gave me that happy gas. And let me tell you one thing, that took me straight to the clouds. I was doing some weird shit. I was going from screaming in pain to laughing. I looked over to Sufyan so many times and I handed him my phone. I'm like, make a TikTok of this. The happy gas whistle that they gave me that I was inhaling from, I even offered it to Suf. I'm like, Suf, try this flavor's banging. At one stage, one of the paramedics looked at me on our journey and was like, what do you do for fun? And I just flat told him, I'm like, I make TikToks. And he kind of laughed and said, oh, that's a little cringe. I'm like, nah, it's not. I'm doing pretty good on it. He's like, how many followers do you got? And I said 300,000. And he was like, no, you don't. So he didn't believe me. When we got to the hospital and like I went through the emergency department, 2 of the nurses over there recognized me and like, oh, that's Ramis. So they told the paramedics, and the paramedic came up to me. He's like, you've just been recognized by 2 of our nurses. Apparently you are pretty big on TikTok. And I was on gas at this point. I looked at him like, I told you. What?
Okay, wait, can I send the push through?
You can scream it through the locked door.
How amazing was your sister during the whole process?
Not really that great.
Wow!
Yeah, nah, she was alright. What did the doctors say when they first assessed you? First thing they said was, you're lucky to be alive. So alhamdulillah, I had that told to me by the paramedics, by the doctors, by nurses that looked at me, that saw my bike. How are your injuries right now? Alhamdulillah, all the wounds and grazes, they all kind of healed. I don't need to do no more bandaging on them. The only problem is, obviously they've repaired the glenoid. The only thing left for recovery is the actual brachial plexus network, which for those of you that don't know, that aren't as smart as me, that is your nerve network. So So my nerves at the moment are kind of bruised and damaged, so it's going to take a lot of time for them to recover. At the moment I can, like as you can see, move my hand up and down, but that's about as much motion it does. It can't do any of these ones or whatever. Or so yeah, in the next few months, if you see me at a wedding in Sydney, you're probably going to see me doing bhangra like this, one arm only. Is this your first serious injury? Believe it or not, this isn't my first serious injury, but it is the most serious injury I've had. I've had like 7 or 8 fractures when I used to play rugby. I got a broken nose, if you haven't been able to tell. I got a broken jaw that got fixed, alhamdulillah. Had a dislocated shoulder. I've had some ankle problems. So yeah, I've had a lot of injuries, but this is by far the most serious one so far, and hopefully that's it. Yeah, Allah, no more injuries, please. No more injuries, yeah? Will you stop writing now? Yes, of course. How has your connection with Allah increased? As a Muslim, obviously, you know, every hardship that we are faced with in life, we're supposed to look at it with positivity. We're supposed to be thankful for that. Good or bad, everything comes from Allah. Everything is planned. The way I like to look at it is this injury was a way of Allah letting me know that, hey mate, let's get you back on the right track. There was things that I could improve on, and now that is something that I'm more focused on and doing. So yeah, at the end of the day, good or bad, everything is from Allah. So alhamdulillah. What has been the hardest daily activity to carry out? Now that my bandages are off, most things I can do, like walk, get up, all of that by myself. But when the bandages on my knees were on, it was kind of hard for me to get up and walk, so I always needed the support of somebody else. So that's where my family obviously came clutch for me. They were helping me get up, get into bed. They were helping me walk up the stairs, even helping me in the shower. So yeah, they had to do a lot of things that they weren't too happy about, but you know, what can we do? But yeah, big shout out to my family, and especially my cousin Nahil. They all came in really clutch. They were helping me with everything, and even my friends Sufyan, Fahad, Junaid, all of these boys were incredible. And yeah, lastly, I want to thank all of you guys behind this screen that have supported me throughout this journey, have sent your messages, your well wishes, your duas. It means the absolute world. It honestly just makes my heart so filled with happiness when I see people that I've never met reaching out to me, messaging me, making sure that I was doing okay. So yeah, big thank you. Now obviously I got these questions from you guys when I asked you on my Instagram story to ask me questions related to my injury. The one question that I got asked the most times was, when are you getting married? And I actually have an answer for that. So basically, I'm getting married on